In a valley cradled by two green hills, where the sun always seemed to linger a little longer, lay the village of Omodon. The people of Omodon were known for their vibrant fabrics, their hearty laughter that echoed through the baobab trees, and the sweet mangoes that grew in abundance. Life was a song, and every day was a new verse. The river, a silver ribbon that flowed from the mountains, was the lifeblood of the village. It watered their crops, quenched their thirst, and its gentle murmur was the lullaby that sent their children to sleep. But one year, the skies forgot how to cry. The sun, once a gentle friend, became a scorching eye in the sky. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The once mighty river shrank, pulling away from its banks like a shy child, until it was just a muddy trickle. The earth cracked open, thirsty and gasping. The vibrant green of the fields faded to a brittle brown, and the sweet mangoes shriveled on the branches. The laughter in Omodon grew quiet, replaced by worried whispers and the dry rustle of dying leaves. This was the great thirst, a tragedy that gripped the village in its hot, dusty hands. The village elder, a wise woman named Amara, whose face was a beautiful map of wrinkles and stories, watched her people. She saw the despair in their eyes, the slump in their shoulders. Families began to hoard what little water and food they had, suspicion growing between neighbors who had once shared everything. The song of Omodon was fading into a mournful silence. One evening, as the sun bled orange and purple across the horizon, Amara called everyone to the center of the village, under the great baobab tree. Its own leaves were limp, its spirit weary, but it still stood tall, a symbol of endurance. People of Omodon, Amara's voice, though raspy with age, carried a strength that made everyone listen. Look around you. Look at your brothers, your sisters. Their faces carry the same worry as your own. Their children cry with the same hunger. She paused, letting her words settle. The river has left us. The earth is hard. But has our spirit also dried up? Have we forgotten who we are? A single thread can be snapped with ease, she said, pulling a single, thin fiber from her wrap and breaking it effortlessly. But when many threads are woven together, she held up the edge of her vibrant, intricate fabric. They create something strong, something beautiful, something that can withstand the harshest winds. We are the threads of Omodon, she declared. And we have forgotten how to weave. Her words hung in the air, a spark in the twilight. A young farmer named Kale, known for his strength, was the first to speak. But what can we do, Elder Amara? My well is dry. My yams are dust. Amara smiled gently. Your well may be dry, Kale, but your arms are strong. Yechi, she said, turning to a woman known for her knowledge of herbs, your garden has withered, but your knowledge has not. Jafari, she addressed a man who was a skilled builder, your tools are idle, but your hands remember their craft. The great thirst is a beast, Amara continued, her voice rising with passion. And we cannot fight it alone in our own huts. We must fight it together, as one family. We will share what little we have. We will pool our strength, our knowledge, our hope. We will not let Omodon become a village of strangers. That night, something shifted. The heavy blanket of despair began to lift. The next morning, Kale did not go to his own barren field. Instead, he went to the village center with his strongest shovel. Jafari joined him with his tools. Yechi brought the last of her dried herbs, not to keep, but to share. One by one, others came. Women brought the last of their grain to a communal pot. Men brought their axes and hoes. The children, seeing the change in their parents, started gathering fallen branches for the fire. Amara guided them. The river has not vanished, she told them. It has only gone deeper to rest. We must follow it. Under Kale and Jafari's direction, the people began to dig. Not a small well, but a great one, in the very heart of the riverbed. The work was brutal under the relentless sun. The ground was baked hard as stone. Blisters formed on their hands, and sweat poured down their faces, stinging their eyes. When one person grew tired, another would take their place. The women organized the rationing of food and water, ensuring everyone had just enough to keep going. Yechi made soothing balms for their sore muscles and brewed teas to keep their spirits up. The children, too young to dig, formed a chain, passing smaller rocks and dirt away from the site. They began to sing the old songs of the village, their high, clear voices a melody of hope that spurred the diggers on. The sound of rhythmic digging, mixed with song, replaced the silence. Laughter, weak at first but growing stronger, returned to Omoden. They shared stories as they worked, teased each other, and encouraged one another when spirits flagged. They were no longer just neighbors, they were a single body with a single purpose, their hearts beating in time with the thud of the picks against the earth. Days turned into a week. They dug deeper than any well had ever been dug in the village. They passed the point of exhaustion and found a new strength, a strength born of unity. And then, one afternoon, Kel's shovel hit not a rock, but soft, damp soil. A cheer erupted, raw and powerful. They dug with renewed frenzy, and soon, a small, muddy puddle appeared at the bottom of the great hole. It wasn't much, but it was more than they had seen in months. It was a promise. They continued to dig, widening the hole, and slowly, miraculously, the water began to seep in, clean and cool. It was the river, answering their call. That evening, the entire village gathered around the new well. It was not just a source of water, it was a monument to their struggle and their togetherness. As the first bucket was drawn, a collective sigh of relief and joy washed over the crowd. They did not rush to drink. Instead, Amara took the first gourd, took a small sip, and passed it to Kale, who passed it to Jafari, who passed it to Nkechi, and on it went, until every single person, from the oldest to the youngest, had tasted the water they had earned together. The great thirst had not broken them. It had forged them anew. In the seasons that followed, the rains returned, and the river flowed wide and strong once more. But the people of Omoden never forgot. They continued to maintain the great well in the center of the village as a reminder. They rebuilt their community, not as it was before, but better. They planned their fields together, built stronger granaries to share, and created a council where every voice, young and old, was heard. The tragedy had taught them the most important lesson of all, that a village is not just a place where people live, but a bond they share. The strength of a community is not measured by its harvest or its wealth, but by the hands it joins in times of trouble. The song of Omoden returned, more beautiful and resonant than ever before, for now it was a song sung in perfect harmony. And so the story was told, passed down from generation to generation, a tale not of loss, but of how the deepest cracks can be filled with the gold of unity.